Leo's Legion, your three down bros here. Greg, Arthur, and Roland here on a Sunday at 8:30 after another Lions loss. And I am almost willing to say the worst loss of the season. 39-8 to the Rough Riders. Everything on the line for this week. The Lions knew what had to be done, but forgot what they needed to do. So my high level thoughts of this, I'm calling my low level thoughts. I said it before, but I'm saying it again. Absolutely abysmal. No effort. Just, they did not even look like a professional football team to me. Arthur, what do you think?
I think they're lacking leadership in many levels, unfortunately. I think at at the coaching level, I think at the coordinator level, I think the leaders in the room leaders. I think there's multiple challenges ahead for the Lions, and they needed more leadership. The leaders needed to step up for a very pivotal game. And when adversity struck, the first interception, pick six.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the first half, all that adversity just could not overcome. And it was really disappointing. How about you, Roland?
Yeah, for sure. Before I go into my high-level thoughts, Habs for Life says hello. Hello, Habs for Life. And hello everyone else. Hello, everyone else who's joined us online. Glad that you can join us on this Thanksgiving long weekend. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you. I think this will be the happiest part of our segment tonight as we go into the Lions.
Hello.
But man, yeah, you guys are right. I mean, where to start? There's so many things that went wrong. Like you said, Greg, when things were on the line and they needed to win, they just folded. They didn't even show up. There was just one good drive that I could see, one good drive that I was kind of happy with, and then the rest, offense, defense, coordinators, everything was just flat. So I'm really scared, going into the playoffs. I mean, we still made the playoffs, but I'm scared because are we going to be a one and done this year? If things don't change, I think that might be it. So anyway, everyone, welcome again. As usual, our format is we're going to be, just bantering among the three of us, but we would love to banter with you online as well. So if you have any thoughts you want to let us know, please type it in the chat. Or if one of us says something that you agree with or disagree with, type it in the chat, and we'll be able to show it on screen, and we'll respond to that.
I would like to personally invite all the fans out there in the virtual land that are signing in to join us. This right here, I'm saying this is where the Lions end up after the first week of the playoffs. In fact, this is where I think they are mentally right now. They are on vacation. No football in mind, in body whatsoever, based on that effort yesterday. Agree or disagree? Come on and join us.
All right. So while you're doing that, we're going to play the highlights of the game. We'll just go through it. It's going to be a bit painful, but it kind of gives us the, it reminds us, I guess, of what went wrong, I guess. So here we go. Let me quickly move forward and start. All right. So here we go. This is the kickoff.
Is it a drinking game? Each turnover, I have to take a shot.
Oh, okay.
Well, you'll be on the floor there, Arthur.
Yes.
Or each missed tackle, or
yeah. So first offensive play, it was okay. 5 yards. Helmet pops off.
Brain bucket flags again.
Yeah. Second offensive play, man. This was a precursor onto how this game was going to be.
Oh, what kind of tackle was that, Mr. Hollins?
well, I mean, he's not a DB, but you gotta like Saskatchewan. They fly to the football.
Yep.
I mean, mind you, they're in the zone defense. It was second and 5. They flew to the football. They got 4 or 5 guys around the football.
Yeah.
That's what you want, right? Short zone.
So first of all, Stanback needs to catch this. Like we've seen.
You can't throw it any better than that.
Well,
a little bit behind.
It's back shoulder.
A little bit behind, but he still needs to catch that.
Yeah,
How many we've seen so many times this season where he dropped these types of passes, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing, this was just a very unlucky bounce. It hits his heel right here, so the ball is still live. It never touched the ground, right? It hits his heel right there, and because of that, the ball was live. But credit to Saskatchewan, heads up play. Look, they rally to the ball. They're right there. They keep the ball in play. Second guy keeps the ball in play. Third guy, catches it. So
okay. So Eberhart was. I'm not going to single Eberhart. He was right beside Allen when this began.
Yeah.
And then you don't even see him on screen. And then Holland comes in because then one of the other guys.
Eberhart, you say, is down here?
You'll see it. Back.
Oh, okay.
More back. Yeah, I think it was Eberhart back there.
Oh, back more? Okay.
More. He's down. He's a little bit back further because he comes running from underneath. Here we go.
Okay, yeah. So
is that Eberhart? Or is
that
that's Holland.
19?
Is that 19?
That's Holland.
Holland comes in later. Is that 13 or 19?
That's 13.
That's 13. So Holland's is there. Okay, so Holland's. Why don't you stay with Allen? Why don't you fly to the ball? Then it's too little, too late.
And then this effort at trying to bring him down. This is just.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I know we're putting talking a lot about this play, but it goes to the heart, right? Saskatchewan's playing with a lot of heart here, and we don't see that match. The intensity is not matched by our players, right?
100%.
So.
Well, you know what they say, Roland. I mean, when they start coaching little kids, hustle makes good things happen. Hustle to the ball, and good things will happen.
Yeah. All right, so we'll keep going. So again, for those online, let us know your thoughts. We'd love to banter with you. Just type it in the chat on YouTube, and we'll be able to bring it up on screen here, and we can respond to your comments. Or if you just want to say something, or if you agree or disagree with anything we say.
Well, that's 95. That's 95% on stand back. I mean, there should have been backup for him, but he hadn't made that catch.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's 95%. I think Nate could have put it in a slightly better spot, but.
Yeah. So this is Saskatchewan's. All right. So they get a field goal here. So that's after the touchdown, and I think they had a safety, so it's now.
Truck. You got trucked there.
Man. Look at that big gap between line and linebacker.
I know.
Oh.
This really kills me, and this is all on RP schemes, right? Like even Farhan was saying, right? RP is just playing all these zone defenses, and the way our guys play the zone defense, they're so far away. When the ball is thrown.
But can you wind it back, bro? Just wind it back for the snap of the ball. So they're what, 3 yards back, right?
Who?
The linebackers.
Yeah, these guys.
Yeah, and then on the snap of the ball, they bailed to what, 12?
Yeah, and that's a scheme that RP is calling, right? They're not doing it on their own. That's a scheme that RP is calling.
So line of scrimmage, 43-yard line. The drop is to what?
Yeah.
50.
So if you're in zone, you should be able to. You're looking at the quarterback. The moment he starts winding up, you can start running towards where the ball's going to be going. You don't wait until the guy catches the ball before you start running towards him. That's why the gap is so big, right?
And then he gets okay. There's what, 43. There's 7 yards there, and then he runs for another couple 3 before they even start to show up.
Yeah. So okay, there's a comment from Habs for Life here. He says no pass rush and a light prevent defense is not a good mix.
Absolutely, yeah. Habs fan.
Absolutely.
Or Habs for life. Sorry, Habs for life. Let's get that right.
Yes. I'm sure he's a Habs fan.
Well, I'm sure his team did a little bit better than the West Coast team here this week. Enough said.
So,
but I mean, if the Lions on offense had that much room, when they've got the ball, I think we'd be doing a lot better. But look at it's just the gaps are just awful.
Yeah.
And then when they come up, they get run over.
Yeah. AJ Ouellette. I think we were able to stop him on his first run, but then after that, we couldn't stop him. Another field goal here.
And there we are, 10-1 already.
13-1 after that field goal. So, okay, one positive. See this catch by Hollins? He actually caught it with his hands.
Yep.
So that's the first time I've seen him catch with his hands for how many months now?
Well,
So-
I think he had to in that. On the, he was stretched out. He
Yeah.
kinda had to.
But you know what? If you waited for that ball to come, that's picked off, I think.
Yeah.
Highly likely it's picked off, but
Yeah.
All right.
I think,
I'm getting my drink ready. This is
Oh.
when I'm going to start drinking. Where the game turns. After this touchdown by BC. And then the game
yeah.
turns.
I mean, this was a good catch by Hatcher, too. So that was in a small, tight window. Actually, I'm going to stop. That small, tight window to Hatcher here, that was reminiscent of Nathan Rourke from a couple of years ago. Like, this was a really tight window that he threw in. And not only did it get through, but Hatcher pulls it down. So, when I saw this, actually, this drive up to now, I was thinking, maybe he's coming back, right? But that was a very short-lived thought.
No, until after this touchdown.
Yeah, this drive was, yeah. So then Mackey gets, a few yards here on
look at how quick they close. Like, just shed their block and close, and the offensive line turns around and looks to see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, let's look at that. You see how quickly they forced Rourke to pitch, right? So in this option, there was no hesitation on this.
Well, you know why? The tackle let the end come free.
But
That's
look
part
at the
of- that's part of
wall. Look at the wall that our running back should theoretically have. But again, like we talked about last week, these receivers don't block real well. But look at the wall that is there.
Yeah,
Yeah, but Broxton is supposed to take out the middle linebacker, right?
yeah. So he whiffed on
That's
that.
what's going on. It's designated usually on a pitch like that.
Yeah.
But he's not even looking at him. He's looking in the middle.
I don't know. What's he trying to? No, he took the inside guy.
No,
Okay,
he's
so-
going.
No.
He's going for the middle linebacker, and he did. But it's just
He
other
brushed-
guys rallied.
Yeah.
But
So
you
anyway,
what? Okay, let it go. Now watch how
So-
fast those guys just get by the receivers.
yeah. So he forces Rourke to make the pitch.
It's a pitch. It's kind of behind, and then you see the tackles in pursuit. But then who lost their block?
Everhart, Broxton.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
Broxton is going after the middle linebacker. So when you see Thurman, that's Broxton. And Broxton's still on him. Okay, so Broxton did his job. It was Woodruff lost. I mean, the left guard lost. I guess the tackle, but it was really more Eberhart, or is it McInnes? No. It's
Well,
Eberhart.
McInnis is still running forward to look for
Yeah, so
something.
Eberhart just missed. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Eberhard. Yeah,
missed that guy.
19 here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Just get the guy in front of you.
But you see, Broxton had Thurman. Thurman's the middle linebacker.
Yeah, he's
so
kicking him out. But then again,
Yeah.
should somebody have had 32 coming in? I mean, again, by this
Well-
time they're rallying to the ball. So
well,
but
32
still.
is Eberhard, right?
no, 32. Eberhart looks to have had
Oh
somebody.
well, I mean,
32
yeah,
th-
true.
Yeah,
But you
it's
see
just a
there's-
mess.
It's a mess.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, I mean, he still gets 4 yards there. And we get a first down here.
Did you hold your breath on that pass? Because I did.
I did, and then Mackey punches it in here. So this was the good drive, right? So this drive, looked pretty good. Standback was a key player in this drive, and then from here onwards, we started using him less and less. Right? I mean, I don't get it, right? This is a good formula where you mix it up with a good runs from Standback, and then we move away from that. So, yeah, our only touchdown. At this time in the game, I was still hopeful because Saskatchewan hadn't scored a touchdown yet, and we scored a touchdown first, right?
Then they go to their yak yarder offense. Short, high percentage throws, and then lots of yak. Look at that. They picked up that blitz.
Yeah.
That's great. Close defense, but
70 yards.
then the defense starts to like.
Yeah, and the receivers are blocking.
Of course. Yeah, look at them.
Yeah, this TJ
Good
Lee.
throws. Good throws too, right?
The other thing that Farhan said too, Trevor Harris was not scared to attack TJ Lee and Gary Peters. He would just attack whoever he wanted to.
You're playing zone. You're playing a soft zone.
But the sad thing is that soft zone never changed.
This was a painful one. You know, to be so.
You thought it was incomplete, right?
I think this
All right,
should.
I'm starting to drink now.
All right. Because he caught the ball. He just barely put it under his.
Did he take a step or two? That's I think about
It was
He took one
step.
steps.
One
Okay.
step.
1.5 steps.
He just barely put his
But
the
look at how
ball
many
under his
guys
armpit.
are around him.
I know, and see they were forcing it. So credit to Saskatchewan, the tackle forced the ball out, right? And but you know I think it was not a good call, but
Can we
under
back it up a
review
little
by the
bit?
command
Do we have
center.
time? So okay, we can't see. Oh no, yeah, okay, because then it's a lot longer throw to get to Eberhardt or Hollins.
Yeah.
But that was their bread and butter.
Uh,
That was Adams to McInnes bread and butter for the first 6 weeks of the year.
which is
Yeah.
what destroyed Saskatchewan the first meeting we had.
That
And
dig
so I
route,
think they were,
that mid dig route by McInnes
Yeah.
in the boundary.
yeah.
see, but Hollins had beat his guy.
Well, once the throw came, you can tell the trajectory was going.
Yeah, look at this. TJ Lee was beat. But going back to what you said, Arthur, Saskatchewan did the film study, and they wouldn't let McInnes do the same thing from the last game, right?
Well, I mean that was like the Lions were running that play like, and then other teams it took so many weeks to adjust, and now they've just shut that play down. Like they're just going to continually shut that play down. I think the Lions look to it too much, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have that as a fact, but they're always looking, and they want that route,
Yeah.
and it's being covered.
Yeah, TJ Lee was beat here again on this touchdown.
Yeah. Well, they went on the blitz, right? So that's the only way they can get pressure. I noticed RP was trying to.
Yep. Have a sip, Arthur.
Another one.
Yeah, I know. Well, he got hit in
got
the
hit.
left side, and then it just fluttered.
Yeah, he got hit. Yeah.
But then what?
I will take a sip. But
So Habs for Life says they were going after TJ Lee clearly. I don't know if he definitely they went after him a lot, but they also went after like Gary Peters and others too. You know what Farhan said was that Trevor Harris was just going after whoever. He didn't care whether you were a veteran or a newbie, right? He's going to go after whoever he wanted.
Because that's a confident quarterback with time to throw.
Yeah.
Time to set
throw.
his feet.
Time
Time
to
to
throw.
set his feet. Time to take a look, and time to think, who do I want to pick on now?
Well, I mean, they're into high percentage throws, and then these receivers are tall and lean, athletic, and they're gonna get some yak on you.
Yeah, because our soft, zone defense is not scaring anyone. That's the problem, right?
Well, I mean, it's more. You have no pass rush. You have a soft zone. I'm just gonna pick you apart. You got to have seams open.
Yeah. So here he gets bumped here, right? So it's not. That was not 100% on Nathan Rourke. He was winding up, and then he gets number 85 here hits him on the back, and that was just enough to because the ball was supposed to go here, right? So,
Was he
but
open?
he was wide open there, yeah. But the ball was low because of that hit. Oh, Viking chat reports. Hey, Viking chat reports. Nice to see you. It all comes down to 3 wins. That's it. The regular season is irrelevant if you can't produce the postseason. The Lions can be explosive with the momentum, so never give up hope. Okay,
Oh, boy.
that's very positive. I'm glad to hear that.
Excellent.
It is, like a lot of people say, postseason is a brand new season, right? So
Viking, 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 Viking.
Greg has words for you.
Maybe Minnesota's a little too cold right now, and the blood's just taking a little too long to get up there. And I'm glad the blood is in your heart, not in your head, Viking, because that's what it's going to be to get these Lions through the playoffs is optimism. But like I said, this background here is my whole entire opinion, because if nothing changes over the next 2 weeks, this scene that we saw on Saturday is going to repeat itself and then some. Because if those play calls do not change, the style of defense does not change, the intensity does not change. Because right now the Lions have proven through everything they've shown up me, they cannot flip the switch and turn it on like, oh, I don't know, the Oilers of the 80s or whatever those playoff minded teams do. They just flip a switch and they're there. These Lions don't seem to have that switch. Period.
Well,
I welcome feedback from Viking on that one.
I mean, they were able to flip it for 2 games with Ottawa and Victoria, and then Montreal the following week, right?
Yeah, but the switch didn't stay up. It doesn't click.
Yeah, so they're able to flip it. The problem is they need to be able to flip it at will. They can't wait for like the perfect storm for them to flip it, right?
And like Arthur said, adversity hits and they fold. That means there is no will. The will is not even weak. It's non-existent.
Yeah.
They knew what they had to do going into this game. So why would you make it harder on yourself?
Yeah.
Honestly.
So
weather's only going to get worse.
Hey, Nathan. Hey, hi, Nathan.
Nathan.
Nice to see you. Haven't seen you for a while at the game. But the Lions have been outcoached since going 5-1. Agree completely at the beginning of the season. They don't have the best talent, but they shouldn't be this bad. Yeah, absolutely. Agree with you. They don't have the best talent, but they do have a lot of good talent. But I think it's all squandered by the play calls, not taking advantage of our strengths and not recognizing our weaknesses. That's the problem. We've got these glaring weaknesses that the teams are taking advantage of on defense, our O-line, and we're not doing anything to fix those weaknesses. So
It's hard to fix the defensive weaknesses. I'll just start with the defense. If your secondary is getting beat man-to-man, okay? Then you're like, okay, if we're going to get beat man-to-man, we have to go zone, right? Because our DBs are going to get beat man. So, okay, then you go to zone, right?
Yeah, but the zone doesn't have to be such a soft zone.
Well, the thing is, you still need a pass rush, right? Your secondary, the defense works together, right? If you can't get pressure on a 4 or 3-man rush, then you need to bring pressure, right?
Now you're leaving holes in your zone elsewhere because you're bringing.
Well, no, I mean if you blitz, you can't go zone.
Yep.
You have to go man. Does the Lions? You saw man to man, the Riders receivers are getting open. So from a defensive point of view, they're kind of in a pickle. At one point they had inexperienced linebackers, right? And that's in the middle of the defense. So it was tough because they couldn't get a pass rush, and the only time they would kind of get pressure is when they blitz, and then you're susceptible to a man-to-man. You have to go man-to-man. So if they're like, okay, well, we can't do that, then we're gonna have to rush 4 and we sit back 8. Well, they're just getting picked apart. Your younger linebackers now. Haladic is back. You guys mentioned the depth on their drops and pass protection and pass coverage, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a little too deep, maybe a little too late reacting to the ball.
Exactly.
More experience, you can kind of see the play develop. You know the opposition playbook a little bit better through your experience. You're starting to lean and cheat toward a specific pattern or a specific area, right?
Yes.
And that comes with experience. Yeah. Well, also with coaching, but also comes with experience, right? I mean, that's just the defensive side of the ball. Offense, we can go on.
But my counter to that, Arthur, is that we did it though. Like in Victoria against Ottawa, you saw our guys rally. By the time the ball got there, either we got there before the ball got to the receiver, or we right there and we hit the receiver and they dropped the ball.
Well,
So-
if I could be devil's advocate on that one, we had played Ottawa the week before, so we should know that those inexperienced linebackers have a little bit of experience that they can cheat towards it. But yes, they did rally a lot better than we've seen them against Montreal. I will take the Montreal
and against
game as a better
Montreal too.
example.
So that's where I hear what you're saying, and I agree that as a defense, there's a lot of weaknesses, but we were able to overcome those weaknesses, at least in those two games.
Give me one counterpoint to Ottawa. They're missing 2 of their starting receivers.
That's right. That's right.
So it's a lot easier to go man when you really only have to really worry about Hardy, maybe Rhymes.
How about Montreal the following week?
Montreal.
they were missing Mac.
They're missing Mac. Well, they're missing Mac. We got in their heads. I think Cody just started a game before, and I think they were really ahead in the Eastern Conference, right? So they were sitting pretty. Yeah, you got to give them credit. Yes, that was a really good game. But and maybe they got bounces. They're not getting the bounces now for sure. But I'm just like I mean, you've seen this team all year, especially after the 5-1 start. Does that secondary? I mean, that scares me. Does that scare opposition OCs?
Yeah.
I mean, what would the Lions? What would you want the Lions to run? Like a zone or a man?
I don't think we have to choose. I'm going to go into Viking chats reports and comment in a second, but so those 2 games plus the 5-game streak that we won early on with VA before we even got Nathan Rourke and Betts coming in, our defense was not as bad back then either. So I'm just saying that we as a team with the personnel we have and with the weaknesses we have, if we can flip that switch and say we're going to come in with a lot of intensity, we can win games. So, anyway, okay. Viking chat report says the Lions defensive formation reminds me of a unique Brian Flores defensive coordinator play calling. Large blitz pressure, lower focus on secondary. It works if players can cover and tackle.
Ooh, don't start me there.
Well, I mean,
We've shown we don't tackle well.
You don't cover man all that well.
Yeah, I think that's why I think the word. I'm glad the word "if" is in there because it works if players get if.
Yeah. Okay. And,
Very good insight, Viking.
yeah. Comment from Nathan. I agree with Art. Can't do too much without a pass rush. The holes on defense can be masked if the Lions offense can stay on the field longer. Yeah, very true. But that hasn't happened since early in the season. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I agree with there too. Our offense was clicking early in the season, so our defense didn't have to work too hard, and it did. Yeah.
I'll say it. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Our offense was clicking because defenses hadn't figured it out yet. Again, it always takes defenses a little bit longer sometimes, and once they figured out our playbook, look what happened. They're there before our receivers are there now, is what it looks like to me.
We had Adams playing at an MOP level.
Yeah.
That's what it took. Right? We needed a quarterback to play at that elite level in order to win games, but by not blowing teams out, by just winning by 7, 8, 10 points.
Yeah.
And we've regressed. Our quarterback play has regressed severely from that level.
Okay.
Was Adams regressing in that 1-point loss to Calgary when they came up with that design defense? Because that was
in the second half, yes. Because the first win against Calgary, they were going cover 0 blitzes quite a bit, and Adams was burning them.
Yep, but then they figured it out.
Well,
I'm gonna read Vikings chat reports, and then I'm gonna build on what you just said.
Viking.
Vikings chat says the Lions just can't initiate tackles. Yeah, true. It's common in the CFL, but the Lions lack aggression. Yeah, they absolutely. That's the difference, right? Saskatchewan is playing with a lot of aggression, and we were so laid back, and it comes down from the coach, I think. But talking about the only guy who was really trying to fire up the team was VA.
The guy that's not on the field.
We saw the clip prior to the game. He had everyone in a huddle on the sidelines, and he was rallying them up. And as our team was, our offense was marching up and down the field, he was following them on the sideline, cheering them on, right? But going back to, okay, I want to, VA did lose that game, right, against Calgary. But I think that's because Calgary figured out a play call. And so he looked bad because the scheme was to keep going deep, and they took away the deep ball, right? And since then, Winnipeg and all the other opponents followed that same defensive scheme. But what I want to throw out to you guys here, and also everyone on the call, is it time for VA to come back? Okay, so think about that. Okay, Greg says yes. Why?
Because his dad told me so.
Okay.
Ooh, there you go.
What
Shout
do
out to you, Mr. Senior, VA Senior. We're calling for your boy. We need him.
Okay. So Farhan thinks that they should both share in the first team reps this week's practice, and then he thinks that they should do a half each in Montreal's game, in the game against Montreal, since a meaningless game, but it's a good game to get them both ready. I think we should just go with VA for the whole game. What do you think?
Well, James Kozak, a guy I was talking to, that I'm hoping he's tuning in soon. He's a Lion in foreign territory. He was sitting there in Saskatchewan, cheering on those Lions and watching them just take the beating that they did. But he says maybe the Lions should go rotate a la Wilkinson and Moon, just rotate VA and Rourke,
Like every other drive.
Yeah, just keep the other team off balance, because they've both got their strengths, and maybe that'll do something. We got to do something desperate, because desperate times call for desperate measures, right?
Okay, Arthur, what do you think?
I like what Farhan said. I would give them both equal first team reps, and I would give them both a half with the first team receivers in the O line, and then let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And you give them both a chance. I think that way, and you come up with a plan right up front, and then you say, hey, now it's playoff time. All bets are off. Whoever gives us the best chance to win, let's go for it.
So you see this game as an audition, kind of. Whoever
audition.
plays the better half, that's who we're going to go with against Saskatchewan.
Well, okay, so if I'm Rick Campbell, I know my feet are held to the fire, and this might be it.
Yeah.
Right? So I have if this is it, I have no allegiances to Nathan Rourke, that he's going to be my quarterback of the future. Because I might be coaching in, who knows, Edmonton next year, right? Following in his dad's legacy. So I might as well go with whichever quarterback gives me the best production in that Montreal game.
Yeah.
And it might be unfair, because maybe they, like Cody and the first team guys, and then the defense, they played the first quarter, and then they kind of shut it down, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, right? So whoever, so ideally, you're going to have to see, right? Like, who reads the defenses better? How accurate are the passes?
But I guess what I'll say is why I still think I agree with what you said, but I think we should just play VA the whole game, because we've already seen what Nathan Rourke can do, right? So he, there's I believe at some point Nathan Rourke will click, but we've seen what he can do this year. There's still a few things that's not clicking. Maybe his confidence level is still not there. Maybe he's still unlearning all the NFL. I don't know how much of an excuse you can keep holding on to that. But the one thing that I think VA might give us is that if he gets first team reps this whole week, and he goes in there, and we're not seeing this, but what if the team still sees him as their natural leader, and Nate's not able to rally the team, but that extra X factor, with VA being number one, maybe that's what's gonna click.
You're only banking, in that case, you're only banking on the X factor. You're banking on that leadership. You're banking on that people rallying for VA. I do have a plot, but you can read Todd's comment first.
Oh, that's a good, very good point. Very good point.
Yeah. Todd says, got to keep Adams healthy for a trade next season. Can't trust the offense to protect him and can't have him.
Can't
I,
have him hurt. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure
have him
that's what
hurt.
he's. Yeah.
Okay. I agree, but at this point, is the priority to get as much for Adams, or is the priority to try to win the Grey
It's
Cup?
it's try to win for Rick Campbell, right? Because
Yeah.
this is it for him.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna say, Roland, is I think the first half. I mean, it's been a long time since that that 1 point loss to Calgary. VA
Yeah.
was hot in the first, and then once they adjusted and did a 3-man front with the one linebacker as spy, he just could not figure it out. And then he was holding on to the ball a bit too long,
Yes.
and it caught up to him. Winnipeg, he got shut out, and then until he got injured in the fourth quarter. So
Yeah.
that was it for VA. And
Yeah.
since then, he had half of football with Toronto against Toronto.
Yeah,
Didn't have first team
with-
reps.
yeah, no first team reps,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
So, but he hasn't been successful since that first half in that Calgary game. That's
Well,
game 7.
He hasn't had a chance to be
Well,
successful.
I get you. He hasn't had a chance, but the last time he was successful is a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
agree.
So
I agree.
I'm just looking at it from pure football tactician. We have the worst offensive line in the CFL according to PFF.
Yes.
You're gonna have,
you know what would be interesting is I'd like to see what our stats were for the first 5-6 games when we were winning. So our stats for the O-line back then versus our stats now.
I mean, I think I can find that for you after
Yeah.
the show.
Because I agree. Like the last 6-7 games, you know, our O-line is so bad, right?
Okay, so right now, it's the worst offensive line in CFL. Agreed?
Agreed.
Yes.
Okay. So if you put a quarterback that prefers to throw downfield, which is VA, and maybe he processes the game a little slower than Nate, I don't know. Now we don't know.
Nate
right
seems pretty
now-
slow now.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
again, is VA's knee ready?
Well, they've been saying his knee's been ready for the past few weeks, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the injury's bigger than it was let on. So is he just as escapable? Like, seems like Rourke's a little more steady on his feet when given contact. He can shake off a sack. Okay.
Yeah. But he's still taking a lot of sacks, right?
He's taking a lot of sacks, but
Yeah.
when VA has to beat people with his mobility, but once you get a hand on him, he's going down. So Nate's able to fight through a potential sack better. I'm just saying, if the Lions keep VA as a pocket passer, and he's a little bit of a shorter quarterback, I'm not sure he is like definitely the best option for this team right
Yeah,
now.
I hear you. So this is what I want to actually let's read House for Last first. It says Grey Cup appearance is all that matters, even though Rourke will be the highest paid player for the next 2 years. If VA is the answer for now, then so be it. Yeah. What I want to see actually is it's not just swap quarterbacks and that's it. You know, VA has the advantage of sitting on the sidelines and seeing what the team is doing. So he's got the advantage of not being right in the middle with where Rourke is, and seeing how the defense is killing us, and you know, with that advantage, what I would like to see is for McSimic to sit down with Adams and say, okay, you're gonna be number 1 QB. What changes do we need to make? How are we gonna overcome our weak O-line? So I'd like him to provide input, because if he does that, plus the fact that he's the natural leader, I think the receivers are going to block for him. I think.
Don't you think they would have had that chat by now?
It doesn't look like
Don't you?
it doesn't look like it.
I
It doesn't look like
it.
If they were gonna have that chat, they would have had it by now.
Yeah, the first losing skid. But I'm going to have
Yeah.
to say McSimic has shown, again, my opinion, but McSimic has shown me he is too damn stubborn, or as I can use Arthur's word, arrogant, or I might even say incompetent, to accept going to a player and saying, hey, what do we need to do? I think it's going to take a leader like VA to go up and shake the marbles in McSimick's head and saying, yo, this is what we need to do because this is what I'm seeing down there. Because clearly you're not seeing it. Because what's VA got to lose? He gets traded. What's he got to lose?
Yeah.
Right? He's going to need to go to the coach and say, hey, this is what we need to do.
Yeah. So Nathan says
There we go. See?
McSimick is too stubborn to ask VA for advice. Last week, Glenn Sitter said McSimick told him they don't run bubble screens a lot because the receivers can block. Yeah, that's right. We mentioned that last week too. That's a terrible reason. It is absolutely a terrible reason. But you know, why I'm so stuck on VA right now is this was his team to begin with this year, and we saw the offense clicking. Yeah, we lost a couple games, and then he went down because it was Calgary first who figured out our offense and how to protect against our offense, and everyone followed. Now, any other offensive coordinator would make adjustments.
Yep, especially after the first shutout to Winnipeg, we should have made some adjustments.
McSimick never did.
Nope.
So to bring in Rourke, okay, we brought in Rourke, and yeah, he's a superstar from 2 years ago. But he's not getting it done, and right now we need to win.
Yep.
We need to win, and I think with VA's leadership and the players, we don't hear what's happening in the locker room, but I have a feeling that the players respect him a lot more. He's the one who's rallying them, right? I mean, Nathan might have better skills, but you got to earn the respect. They respect VA. So if he's the quarterback gunslinging back there, we might get that extra 10% from the players. And if we get that aggression and that intensity, which we all saying that's what we need, then this might do it. If our offense is clicking and they start scoring, it's going to fix a lot of our problems on defense because now the opponents are playing catch up. So that's all I'm saying. And it's a meaningless game next week. Why not try it? And that's. Yeah,
well, I see your point. I see your point, Roland. I mean, Nathan's been having first team reps for the past 7-8 games.
Yeah.
So maybe he's banged up. Maybe he needs a rest, and then it's one game. Maybe give VA all the first team reps, because Nathan's had it for the past 6, 7, 8 games, whatever, and just let VA get the best chance, and then see what happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could be swayed to do that. I could be swayed. You make a compelling argument. I'm just saying that for right now, this O-line, I mean, you're assuming a lot of things change. And I'm a person until they change, I'll see it to believe it, right?
Yeah.
So if they're going to roll them out, they're going to do a very mobile package. They're going to work with VA's strengths. Then I'm all for it. But if he's sitting back in a pocket and they're just doing basic standard McKismick,
change the player but keep everything else the same is what you're saying.
I mean,
right?
it's what I'd rather have Big John Elway as our Bryce. He looks like John Elway to me. Big Bryce. Number 7, big white guy, number 7, big arm. I like those throws in the fourth quarter. I do. He looked better. Good. He looked better than our 2 quarterbacks.
I mean, to be fair, Saskatchewan had already,
checked out a bit.
Yeah, but yeah, he did look good. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I see what you mean, and I say if it's VA, then give him an offense that suits him.
Yeah.
And
I think okay, if we do 2 things, we get stand back involved and not just running on first down all the time because that becomes very predictable, right? Get stand back involved so that the run game becomes a credible threat. Then the defense can't just pull back and cover all the deep balls because otherwise Stammer's going to keep getting first downs on them, right? So have a more balanced offense and plus the possible X factor that VA might bring in. At this point we need an X factor. We can't, like you said, we can't keep doing the same things, right?
Well, I have a question for Arthur. He said if we do a game plan that caters to VA's strengths, wasn't that the game plan the first 5 games? He was playing at that elite level. That game plan seemed to cater to his strengths.
Yeah.
But that game plan got figured out. So now we got to figure out what else caters to his strengths.
Yeah.
I think maybe VA and Nathan should just get in the room They come up with a game plan. Just shuffle McSimic aside
Oh, come on.
and have those two quarterbacks come up with something.
I mean, good luck with that. I mean, unless you're Tom Brady, you're not going to get that respect.
I think VA deserves that respect. McSimic sure has not earned that
Oh,
respect.
I don't know. Come on. I don't. I mean, come on. I mentioned Tom Brady. You bring VA. Come on. I mean, you got to win championships.
Well, I'm talking the respect within the team here. That's it.
Yeah,
I mean,
respect
yes.
within the
Well,
team.
I mean, you gotta be a winner, right? So. I mean,
But imagine this, right? If VA says, he brings up one or two schemes and says, I think this will work, and he shares these schemes with the offensive team, they're gonna do it. For the way I see the team right now, if VA says we got to tell the O line, the receivers, the running backs, this is what we got to do to win, they're gonna do it.
let me
He's
ask you
got
this
the
question,
respect, right?
Roland. Do you think the issues with leadership, which is what I that's what I mentioned earlier, can be fixed just by starting VA?
There's different levels of leadership, right? There's the leadership in
Yeah.
the locker room. There's leadership in the play calling. There's leadership
field.
Yeah, there's leadership, in terms of getting the personnel, but in terms of the locker room leadership, I'm guessing, but like all three of us feel bad for VA, and I think a lot of half the fan base, maybe even more, feel really bad for him. In our head, we know that the future is Rourke, right? But we all feel bad for VA because he got shafted, right? He got the short end of the stick, and I'm sure the players are feeling that too. So if there's a chance for VA to redeem himself, I think they're gonna do it. They're gonna rise up to it.
All I'm saying is they would not be in this pickle. They would not have this lack of resolve. This, this folding their tents under adversity. If it was just a mere VA versus Nathan kind of a thing. What plagues the Lions
Is
is
something far bigger.
much bigger, much deeper than who your starting quarterback. This is my opinion, and alone. What ails them is much, much bigger than this.
I agree
know.
completely.
So changing the quarterback, it might give them a lift, a spark. I mean, and
Yeah,
But it needs
because
to
we
be
can't
sustained.
we
right?
can't
But-
we can't fix everything else, right? It's going to take a whole season to try to fix everything else. But what can we do now? Because
this is a Hail Mary. This is a Hail Mary. for
exactly
you.
we've got this. We've got
we're left
four,
with.
four games. If we make it all the way to the Grey Cup, we got 4 games.
Yeah, so one game audition, because this means a mean nothing game. And then you got a week of rest, and then you got, your 3 biggest, potentially, hopefully, 3 biggest games a year. And you can redeem a whole season, ask Montreal, by going on a
Yep.
hot streak. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Oh,
Jordan, Smurville.
Oh.
Jordan, nice to see you, Jordan.
I can't take a drink. I need
What's the
something.
percentage they make it to Grey Cup? So I see Greg's answer already. Well, first let's set this up.
Is that an Eberhardt?
No, that's this.
Let's set this up.
I couldn't really
This-
see the...
Does anyone remember at the beginning of the season what was the percentage that people were giving to the Lions to win the Grey Cup?
I believe they were anointing them champions based on our super duper pick your poison receiving core.
Yeah. Jordan's got tickets to the Grey Cup, so he wants to know what the percentage is.
Too bad, Jordan. I was going to sell them to you.
Jordan,
I'm going
I
to sell mine to you.
Here we are saying this. We got Lions jerseys on. We for all the listeners out there, we are Lions fans. Love them, hate them, good, bad, otherwise. But we got to call it like we see it, right? And I'm seeing not a whole lot of promise right now. So I'm in a bad mood after yesterday's game. That was a putrid loss, but I still love this team. I will love them till I can't watch football anymore.
Okay, let's 3 of us provide an answer. Your assessment, percentage probability that they make it to the Grey Cup. So not win the Grey Cup. The answer, the question
Make
was
it. So at
make
least
it.
he gets his ticket
Yeah,
so he can watch.
So we beat Saskatchewan and Winnipeg, most likely in that order. Okay, percentage probability. Let's start with Greg. You said 0. You want
I'm
to
saying
change that?
I'm
Okay.
as much as Roland said, I'm thinking one and done. They go into Saskatchewan and they're not coming out of there with a win based on everything I've seen leading up to and including yesterday's game. They're not getting out of Saskatchewan.
Okay, so 0 for Greg.
0.
All right. Arthur, are you a bit more optimistic or?
Oh, I have to be more optimistic than 0. Come on, it's like
0.3.
Gregory. Any
Sir.
given Sunday.
I know.
You've been around football long enough.
I know.
To
and
know.
and you know I am guilty as sin for thinking with my heart. And my heart tells me nada, zip, 0,
Any
nil.
given Sunday.
And this Sunday, not this Sunday, 2 weeks
whatever.
today.
It's gonna be Saturday, I think. But
well, whatever.
Yeah.
Any given day, the Lord ain't given that day. The Lord be taketh away. The football gods will not be smiling upon the Lions in the Western Semi. I'm stating it right here, right now. If I'm wrong, you gentlemen know what'll happen. But I that is what my heart and that is what my head is telling me.
All right. So 0 for Greg. Arthur, what do you say?
so basically 2 straight road wins in Regina and Winnipeg. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do they need to happen? I mean, the percentage you got to it's a low chance, right? I mean, Winnipeg, I think they have maybe, I'm just off the top of my head, about 40%, 35% chance to win the game. I mean, that's still lousy odds,
Yeah.
right? It's like, and then going into Winnipeg, you got
So
10, 15
even lower.
chance.
Even
Well,
lower.
of course. I mean,
okay.
so BC going into Winnipeg for the 3rd straight year, you can say, hey, they're due. Maybe things will even out the calls. But most likely, did you guys watch the Argos Blue Bombers game on Friday?
Yes.
You saw that bully ball? They were pounding each other.
Yes.
Can you imagine the BC Lions going up against the Blue Bomber Lions?
Nope.
We would just get it'd be like, oh my goodness. Maybe they would put in Bryce just so VA's market value doesn't submarine like to 0. It was like, oh my goodness. I mean,
if they put in Bryce, I think Doman is gonna fire them. When
It's so subtle, Ro.
like in this week's game, when I saw Bryce there, it's like if the coaches have given up on the game, what are you telling the players? Yeah, the score is like insurmountable at that point. But putting in Bryce, like you've given up on the game. So what are you telling the players as a coach, right?
I want to see Perry's reaction if he saw Bryce go in a game. VA didn't get the field.
So actually, Nathan has a comment here. They will need some 1994 playoff road magic.
Some?
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened on the road that year, Nathan?
Win 2 cold weather games and then back to BC Place for the cup.
Okay, so my answer.
All right.
Before I was, there was interjection.
Yes.
35, 15, 50, so 25% chance.
25%.
Can I say something?
Is that
if-
the right
if-
math? 15 of 35?
Well, I mean, it's 35 and then 15. Yeah, well, 35 and then 15 on that 35. So, I mean, what do you want to say? It's
Well, Arthur, I'm going to borrow his line. You know how he says, can we imagine the Lions going up against Winnipeg playing bully ball? The Lions will not be able to fold the tents because the Bombers will come by and just take the tents away at will. The Lions won't have any tents to fold. That's how weak they are. I don't think they could play bully ball if their life depended on it.
So all I can say is they got Montreal this coming up week. Then they got a bye. To a man, Vernon Adams was predicted as going to be the MVP candidate at the beginning of the year. Lions were predicted to be in the Grey Cup game.
To win the Grey Cup even. Right?
In the winning Grey Cup.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think these guys, if there is sufficient leadership on this team, this is go time. And I think that if they can put everything together, they can be at their best a good team that can give any team a run and make it a good game, a close game. Hey, in playoff football, if they can make plays on the road and put doubt in the other team, the Lions do have guys that have elite skill.
Yeah.
So if you can get the rest of the team to raise their level, raise their floor, and you got a few of your playmakers making elite plays, that's how you win games. Now, they're not going to win the games like what Winnipeg or Toronto or Montreal or Saskatchewan are looking like how they're playing. But, and it's, that type of football is more predictable because it's more like you can see it coming, you stop us.
Yeah.
For the Lions, they have to counterpunch. And if there's some unreal play, they have two quarterbacks that can do it. So the odds are not good. Right. What's 35 and then 15? But I mean, it's 15% at least, right?
Well, that's 15% more than I thought. That's what I'm.
Well, because it's 35 and then 15, so it's like it's kind of a
average of 25.
Well, I mean,
it doesn't work that way, right?
It doesn't work that way.
35% times 15%.
Your max is 15% to make it to the Grey Cup, so you can say 15%, right?
All right.
Well, still 15 higher than me. It's Roland's turn now.
I mean, I'm the most optimistic out of the three of us, but I got to tell you, the odds are pretty tough, right? If the Lions had the capability to turn it up, they should have done it this week, right? They should have done it a few weeks ago, but they haven't. And this week, this week was the make it or break it to win second place.
A statement game,
and they completely folded. So, but like you said, there's still a chance, right? They're not out. And because we're still playing the games, anything can happen. So Arthur's number was analytical. He kind of looked at 35% then 15%. I'll give a more hard answer, kind of and I'll say that if they're able to reignite that belief, and I'm seriously thinking it should be through VA.
Oh.
Then I think
is VA the pilot light or is he the lighter, Roland?
What's the difference?
Is he the igniter or is he the flame that will need to be ignited?
I think
you're thinking he's the igniter.
He's the igniter.
He's the spark. Okay.
He's the spark.
He has the talent and he has the leadership to do it.
And the respect, yeah.
Yeah, he does. He does have it.
And for any player who feels that he's been sidelined, they would want to see him, justify himself, right?
For a last hurrah, if they know he's on his way out, they want to see him go out on top.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
and sometimes emotion's enough, but I don't know if they have anything left in the tank.
Well, we've been saying emotion is what they need, right? So I'm saying, given that, I would say, it's still a tough road. So I'm going to say 50%.
What?
50?
Yeah.
So what's the percentage of winning in Regina?
Well, I'm not doing analytical. I'm just saying percentage that they get to the Grey Cup. So I didn't analyze it from what percentage are they going to win Saskatchewan, win Winnipeg. I'm just saying if we can make the changes in house, and we believe that anything can happen. We've beaten these teams before.
Roland, what are you drinking? I want some of that. I think Greg needs some of that, big time.
We've beaten these teams before.
Well, yeah.
So.
We've beaten Winnipeg regular season. We have not beaten them when everything is on the line, and we're going to their house.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, we will be dictated into playing their style of ball.
Yeah.
Because their defense, right now, based on the whole entire year, who is responsible for Winnipeg's turnaround? What unit? The defensive unit.
Yeah.
They punched every offense in the mouth when they decided, okay, enough's enough.
Yeah.
Our defense has yet to punch. Our defense has yet to face somebody down, let alone punch them in the mouth.
Come on, the Calgary Stampeders are a really good team, Greg. Come on.
But I know it's reaching.
I got nothing on that one.
I know it's reaching, but VA has beat Winnipeg in Winnipeg. We beat Saskatchewan in Saskatchewan this year. So, all you need is a belief. You need a belief, you dig deep, and you got to hit harder than the other team.
We beat Shea Patterson in BC Place. but we
Yeah.
didn't beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, but
But you don't
Okay.
think Saskatchewan had that date, yesterday's date, circled on the calendar after losing in BC Place?
yeah,
Yeah,
for
they did.
sure.
Right? Especially when they knew. I mean, okay, say they circle it, but they know what's coming down because Corey Mace, that team is playing for him. I don't know if Campbell's lost the room as we've talked about,
I
but
think
I
he
don't
has.
think
Yeah.
this team is playing for him the way the team is playing for
Something
Mace.
is up. Something's really toxic or bad, or something's gone really bad there.
Yeah.
But you know, our team seems to have that more often than not, that something inside that room, like even when Wally was here, Wally lost the room towards the end too. As great a coach as Wally was.
Imagine.
I don't know if it's West Coast whatever or the players that McAvoy's bringing in. I don't know.
Imagine
you might be right.
if the three of us are so disillusioned with the play calling with no adjustments, right? We're seeing it on the outside. If
Yeah.
you are a player in there and you're saying we're calling this play again,
Yeah, when you're in the huddle,
You know,
they call it. And
it's
you're like,
like-
oh, come on, man.
like you know, even if you want to go 110%, you know, it's like what are the chances, right? So
So you're saying they get that play again? They're like, oh man, this one again, it never works, and then they run the route
yeah,
not as hard, not as crisp.
yeah,
not as
they're not
intense.
expecting it to work. So I don't know. I'm guessing, right? We don't know what's happening in the.
Oh,
in
to
the
be a
locker
fly
room.
on the wall at a team meeting between now and Western Semi.
All right, guys, it's 9:31, so we've hit the hour mark, so we should be wrapping it up.
But you know what, Greg? You know who I'm happiest for? Lucky.
Oh,
I'm happy. Greg and I are happy for Lucky. Whitehead.
absolutely. And I'm happy for Betts too. I mean that
Yeah,
play that
Betts.
he did last week.
Last
You know
week,
what? Again, it's just really good to show. I mean, okay, Betts, it was his option and his choice to leave. But I mean, I'm sorry, the management has not made me forget Lucky with what we brought in. You know, Hollins has not made me forget Lucky. But anyway, hours up. But yes, I
Yeah.
agree wholeheartedly with Arthur. And gee, so does a Mr. Whitehead. We're good.
Oh, excellent.
All right, so let's wrap it up. 9:32. So quick round. Final thoughts. Montreal. I mean, it's a no meaning game. I don't think Montreal's going to be playing hard. But looking ahead, final thoughts. You can talk about anything.
Cody even make the flight, or Fletcher? That's the thing, right? I mean, a road game, and then they have one more game against what is it, Winnipeg?
Their final game.
Yeah.
Here, let me look. It up.
I mean, yeah, it's a mean nothing on standings, but they better play 100%, or you don't want any injuries going up against. But then again, maybe Winnipeg resting
Well,
people too,
you
right?
probably want to play the Bear game against Winnipeg because then you got a week break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Oh,
and
Montreal
then,
has
yeah.
Winnipeg the last week.
Yeah, and then they have a week break because they're gonna host a Eastern final.
That's right.
So you'd want to. This really might be a throwaway game for them,
Yeah.
especially
I
it's
think
on
so
the
too.
road. What do I want to see is obviously we want to see some heart. We want to see some imaginative play calling and some changes, but most importantly for me, I want to see leadership at all these levels. I mean, we're gonna see leadership at the head coaching level, the coordinator level, and among the leadership of this team
Big
to
ask.
rise up. And you might get smacked in the mouth with some adversity, bad calls, bad bounces, so many bad bounces, bad calls. You gotta suck it up, and at times they
through it.
did. At times they did,
Yeah.
especially, and then adversity came, and they didn't have it. But yeah, we need more. We need some more. We need more resolve.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks, Arthur. Greg, final thoughts?
They better run Montreal out of the building early and often, because if this is a tune-up game for the playoffs going into a bye week, and it's a mean nothing game for Montreal, I don't care what Mr. Campbell's mindset is about taking knees on the 50-yard line with 20 minutes left, if the score is whatever. This is a mean everything game for this team because, like Arthur said, they got to prove to themselves they can be ready, firing on all cylinders going into the playoffs, because they got a bye week, and every bye week they've had this year, they have come out flat, uninspired, and nothing. They've come out just horribly. So they need to go. They need to run Montreal out of the building, and they got to play like their starters the whole entire game and play at 110%. They can't afford any injuries, So yeah, they gotta run this thing up and out quick.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Greg. So my final thoughts, I think I'll just summarize what I said earlier. I agree completely with what Arthur said. Intensity needs to be there. Something needs to happen. Leadership needs to step up. And I think the biggest leader in the room is VA. So I think with VA involved and rallying the troops, I think that gives us our biggest chance to not just win on in Montreal, but to start to get into the playoffs on a high and possibly get all the way to the Grey Cup and win. So that's my thoughts. It's 9:35. We'll end it here. Thanks everyone for joining us. Really glad to have chatted with you. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. It's a long weekend, so if you're having a turkey tomorrow, take an extra drumstick for us.
Have mine tonight.
Okay, take care, everyone. Have a good night. We'll see you next week, same time, Sunday, 8:30. All right.
Have a good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Go Lions.
Go Lions.
OVA.